deemed the Celebrity Whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them, Chris. They're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby. This is good.
Taylor Ferber.
Okay, as the saying goes, I'ma do me and baby, you do you. Well, guess what? We have somebody in the chat today who gives that a whole other meaning. Today is the day, people, that they are reunited. Who? Me, the Celebrity Whisperer, and the pop culture queen herself, Deuxmoi. Now, this is Deux' first time on my show, although she is the ever-present voice. You may have recognized the voice even in this show intro, okay? She is everywhere at all times. And something that I love about this girl, she and I, we've both have been in this business, okay? We have seen it all. And what I love is that she has taken all your dirty little secrets, your guilty pleasures. You all know you want to know what celebrities are really like. And she's taken that concept. Remember the Us Weekly, like what's in their bag? She has taken that to a whole other level. But it's not a gossipy TMZ, Perez Hilton. It's almost like the celebrities respect it and respect her and want to be a part of it. And so nobody is safe because everybody is kind of talked about how they really are, these larger than life celebs. And today we have the brains behind the empire herself, Deux, with us. So Deux, welcome to my domain, baby. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I love the little you do me or what did you say in the beginning? You do you.
You do. Well, you're in New York. We're both tri-state girls, so I figured you would appreciate it. Sometimes it comes out.
Yeah, I try to hide it. You
do?
Yeah, I do. I try to hide it. And somebody recently sent me an email and they were like, I don't know what your accent is. I also, a lot of people leave the comment like, you sound like a Valley girl or like, and I'm like, Valley girl, like, honey, I'm East Coast, but I do try to hide it.
No, it is giving New York, bitch. Like, do not get it twisted. It's funny because I grew up like an hour outside the city. When I lived in the city, same thing, oddly enough, people were like, are you from California? I was like, bitch, I will go East Coast on your ass so fast.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just growing up, like, I don't know, watching TV shows, watching Beverly Hills 90210, and like, I have no idea.
You're like the Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have infiltrated our brain, but you seriously are. I wasn't even joking. Like, you are the ever-present voice around all of us who are into pop culture. So that must feel a type of way for you. And we're going to talk all about you, girl, in a way that we maybe haven't heard from you before. So I'm excited about that. And, your anonymity and all that. But first, I'm a big fan of like the choose your own adventure, right? So since you have reinvented the wheel and changed the game of this, I'm curious for your take. I'm going to throw out a couple things at you and that are just like tried and true about pop culture through the years and what it says about us, about celebrities. So I'm going to throw out a couple and you just pick one you're gravitated towards and run. So the first is celebrities who are just consistently nice, ones who are not so nice. The idea of the people like a Leo, right? Always with the younger women. Or the Harry Styles with the fluid sexuality. It's almost like the Mick Jagger thing and how people just drop their panties for that, like generation to generation. So whatever, resonates or, you want to take it away, by all means.
Well, this is probably the least boring or the most boring out of all of those options. But I always like to talk about like who's genuinely a nice person in real life. And we were actually just talking before we started recording about Post Malone and how you were going backstage to his show soon. And I said, I'm so jealous because I've heard he's such a nice guy, like genuinely a nice guy. And those are the type of things that I find interesting, like more who is really convincingly putting up a facade or a front and everyone thinks they're great, but behind the scenes, they're totally opposite or vice versa. So
So
those
what
are the things that I find interesting.
why do you find it interesting? And like name some, like I know I could spit some off, but name some examples of people who are just so consistently nice and why it may be interesting and why it may be surprising. Is it because people like they're so larger than life? People would think that they are entitled or dicks. Like what is it for you that's like, huh? And
Yeah, and I think there's like many different ways to answer that. Like I find it fascinating people who can be so fake, convincingly fake.
actors,
Because
am I right?
like actors, yes, it's like they can't turn off.
The
And
actors be acting. That is so
yeah,
true.
and it's like they can't turn off, and it's so incredibly fascinating to me because I guess I'm just so blunt and I don't know how to be fake in real life.
No.
So that part, that type of control over your own persona
No.
is actually impressive to me. So, I mean, I'll give you one who I actually was arguing with people about in the comments of a recent post, Tom Cruise. People give him a lot of shit for being a Scientologist, but I have only heard the nicest things
Yeah, I
about
have
the
too.
type of person he is
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And people were scared to comment and they were sending me messages in the DMs and they were like, "Dude, like he's one of the most genuinely like professional and polite and respectful people." They didn't want to comment it on the post because everyone was so rabid about like him being a deadbeat dad and being a Scientologist that the fact that he could possibly be, one of the most professional actors
Yeah.
in Hollywood doesn't even matter to them. When to me that is so important
Yeah.
when there is like so much shadiness and disrespect going around. A perfect example of that is this whole like it ends with us drama. And between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and what really went down on set between them to cause this friction that is so evident in their press tour. I don't know if you're following that, but it's
So
a big thing happening.
I half am. And also, just to piggyback quickly on the Scientology thing, I'm sure you've noticed this also. I always say, I'm like, maybe they're like, don't come for me, but maybe they're onto something because John Travolta, also, nicest man ever, like, no bad things to say. But also, it's always like, for the most part, I'm generalizing, but the vet A-listers who are super consistently nice, and it's always like the wannabe C-list TikTok like bachelor reality people who think they're hot shit. I'm like, sweetie, no one knows who you are, even your neighbor. Like, calm down. So I don't know if that's an element of it with the Tom Cruise thing, but really quickly, yeah, your thoughts, because I've met Justin Baldoni many, many times. And I've never met Blake Lively, but Justin, I mean, he and I have been like on a personal, contact basis, and I have found him to be the sweetest.
The shortest distance from your head to your heart is your neck. It's a short distance. Just take it. Just take it.
And be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Yeah. He's also, his religion is it's not Buddhist, it's
I
it's
talked
him on his
about
Ken
it.
Badgley.
Yeah.
What
It's
is it
called
again?
oh god, I forget. It like ends with an I, it starts with an R or a B.
It's yes, but I don't know if that has anything. I'm Googling it really quick. Oh, Baha'i.
Baha'i, yeah. Oh, see, there I was.
Yes, yeah. Oh, you were right there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. New York education coming in hot. I say own it, by the way. It gives it authority. It's like, people in the South here in Nashville, they're like, our Southern accent people think we're stupid. But anyway, so I say own it and own your resting bitch face in real life with their New York ways. If you have one, I know I do. But so what is really quickly, and does that have to do with your thing of like, oddly enough, people who presume or put the facade of being really fake and nice actually aren't? Does that play into that? Or
Yeah, well, this is the thing. For both of the actors, Blake and Justin, like I'm hearing both sides of the story. So I'm having people come to me and being like what you just said, like Justin is such a nice guy. Like I can't even imagine that there was friction between them on set. And then I'm having people who worked on the movie
Wow.
or close to people who worked on the movie saying he was such a bad communicator as a director. He made Blake feel uncomfortable because of X, Y, and Z. And then with Blake, she has a
Wow.
reputation for being a certain way, but then I'm hearing people come to her defense in my DMs and being like, Blake was so professional and so amazing during this whole project. So I don't know what to think, to be honest.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really fascinating because we'll always hear the prima donnas, right, going at it.
Right.
But this is really, I mean, again, I can't attest to Blake, but I will say Justin, and I know that the Baha'i, I actually have had friends in LA who are behind, like, you know, what their faith meant to them. And I think it is like Buddhist adjacent, but he told me a story of really hitting rock bottom in life and why, like, I think he had cancer at one point and why it just like allowed him to really reflect and be the person he is today. And he also, I became close with him because he did all that. I'm like, here he is in the Peace Corps, like philanthropist, but he did all that work on Skid Row. I forgot what it was called. And he did that movie My Last Days about really, right, with young people facing terminal illness. And I met some of them. So like, yeah, that's crazy. And I've also heard really great things about Blake. And obviously she and Ryan Reynolds are such vets. So yeah, when they're pinned up, that's so I did not have that on my bingo card. Like,
yeah, I'm really actually quite interested what other people are hearing, if they're hearing like such polar opposites of character assessments of what happened on this on set, because
Right.
honestly I've never been so confused, and like people are asking me like, well, in your opinion, like who's in the right and who's in the wrong and whose side are you on? And I honestly like I I don't know. Like part of me is like, if he made her feel a certain way on set having to do with her physical appearance, which is a rumor, that's not cool. And listen, like I don't think he, you know, said like, oh,
Yeah.
she looks large or huge. I think that there was a conversation because she was postpartum. I think there was a conversation on set and it was not private. I think other people had heard it,
Right.
and that's why it's getting out there. And that's part of this
That's
narrative, that
fascinating.
things happened on set that made her feel uncomfortable. And there's just so many different rumors swirling. I'm trying, like, as people ask me the questions, because I'm doing a Q&A right now. Today's Monday, on my Instagram stories, to be as open and honest, because I also think it's unfair that both are being accused of things that might not have happened at all, right? Like people are saying like, is there going to be now I'm hearing like the A word, like abuse. Like, did he abuse her?
What?
And I'm like, I swear to
This
God,
is
like
getting crazy.
it's getting crazy. Like these are the type of rumors that are now being created. And I just want to say like, no. And I said it on my account, like I haven't heard anything of that nature or to be that serious. And then people are painting the picture, like also like asking me like, did Blake and Ryan bulldoze over Justin like during
I was just gonna say it is a little bit of like a David and Goliath, like, and also I'm thinking like both being so notoriously nice, and even like my personal experience with Justin, like what would either of them have at stake? And like it's not like, again, they're naturally petty. So all this, I'm gonna pivot to a perfectly on time young Hollywood, right? And again, like the tried and true, like what stands the test of time. But all of this just goes to show, something due on my show that I explore a lot is like celebrity relevancy, and will they become obsolete? And like after the pandemic, I think like they became so transparent and in people's faces, but like this goes to show that it's just one of those things that will never die. Like that's why I said in the beginning, our guilty pleasure, like something about it, like we are just like fascinated, right? But with that being said, I noticed you post a lot about obviously young Hollywood. And these are like, I'm talking the usual suspects, right? Like Sydney Sweeney, Sabrina Carpenter, Glenn Powell. And so with your experience of this, and even like when I take a bird's eye view and look at Hollywood and young Hollywood through the years, like I know that we're in like more of a PC time and all this, but like, is there something to just be said about like young people being really hot? And like why we gravitate toward them generation after generation? Like, what are your thoughts covering them so much and seeing it play out?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think in 2024, the public's perception of what's hot is a lot different than it was even like 5 or 10 years ago. I think that you know, the standard has changed. So I think, yes, you see a bombshell like Sydney Sweeney and you're like, yeah, she's hot. But then I think that there's also people who maybe don't fit that standard that are also, their stars on the rise. Like Rachel Sennett. People love her.
who that is. Is that bad?
She was in The Idol, and she was in
I
The
love
Idol.
Idol. Was she the
Yeah.
friend?
Yeah, she was the friend, but people love her. The kids love her.
The kids.
The kids love her. So yeah, so
Wow.
like someone like her, you know what I mean? Where she's like, she's very attractive, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you're asking
It's like
specifically
offbeat.
about looks. Offbeat, yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that has become more the standard, honestly. Like
Interesting.
I think on social media.
Right.
Okay, let's talk strictly
True.
social media. Okay, not what's out in the real world. I'm talking strictly social media, the
No,
younger generation. Like that's what I think that they're gravitating
in the
towards.
wild.
Yeah, they're
Right.
gravitating towards more the offbeat type girl.
Convention,
Right,
going
but
against convention. And then I look at it, like I said, on the whole, and I'm like, as much as they say that, like we still worship those people with such conventional beauty, like even the Glenn Powells, right? And it makes me think, like, is there something? Because then I look at stars like the Pam Andersons, the Jennifer Love Hewitt, whoever, the Carmen Electra, and then before that, the Marilyn Monroes. And I'm like, is it just like I said, the testosterone last time? Like, are we just all superficial now?
yes, of
But we
course.
all just love
Yes.
beauty.
Yeah,
Like,
no. And listen, this is the thing. Sydney Sweeney, I think, is a great actress. So not only does she have the beauty, but she has the talent as well. So I enjoy her work. And I think that she has staying power
I
because
enjoy
she
her
has
work.
the talent. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that she's just a flash in the pan because she's a pretty face.
What with that being said, the flash in the pan situation, what are your thoughts on? Because I noticed like you covered it was someone's birthday party recently.
Oh, Charlie
And
XCX.
yes.
Yeah.
And like Addison Rae, right?
Yeah.
All these people. And I noticed this at the end of my time doing red carpets, right? Was the come up of these influencers, TikTok stars. And meanwhile, you have the Merrills, like, babe, again, like, please get out of my way, like, step off my gown. Like, you're in my way. Like, please go fetch my popcorn, you know? And I'm curious if you think these TikTok stars will ever truly be regarded as A-list, like untouchable, Merrills, etc.
No, I don't. Sorry, TikTok stars. Listen, Addison Rae has an amazing team behind her. I don't know if it was all strategic, but she is the only one who was able to really reinvent herself in a way that I think the public appreciated. She went away for a while. Like when there were things happening with
Yeah.
her family and there was scandal with her dad, she went away. We didn't see her. And then she slowly started reemerging. She had different styles. She stopped doing the TikTok dances. She started getting cast in these Netflix movies. And then she, started singing. And her first song got really kind of panned at first. But then I don't know, she had this like renaissance. And I think it's because whoever was guiding her, and I'm going to assume that she had people behind the scenes telling her what to do, or else she's a fucking genius. And she can manage my career because whatever she did, it's like they love her. The kids, as I like to call them. The kids love her.
Is it giving industry plant? Like Tate McRae.
I don't know. Maybe it is because whatever she did, I think it worked for her and only her, and it will not work for any of these other TikTok stars. So as much as I think she has a long way to go before she's considered A-list. I do think that she is the only one who was able to make that transition successfully from TikTok to Hollywood.
It's so interesting that you say don't undermine how maybe she is just a business creative marketing genius. Like
she has
so
to
many.
be.
Same thing with like the Paul brothers, same thing with like other people I won't name in politics, but like they, people write them off. And it's like, I talked about this in an episode recently. It's like, they, or maybe Kris Jenner is managing her. I don't know. Same thing. Everyone thought the Kardashians were talentless, and Kim is arguably one of the most influential, powerful people in the world. So.
100%. And the thing with Addison, like if you're into branding and you're into marketing and you really paid attention to what Addison did, again, like if she did this on her own volition, like she's a genius. She started posting a lot of inspiration images to her Instagram stories. And then she started dressing around the paparazzi a certain way. And it was all this like sort of throwback to the early 2000s, like it girl era. And she did it in her own way, though. She did it in a way that seemed fresh for 2024. And then she, rolled out her new song, Diet Pepsi. I don't know if you've heard it. And people went crazy for it. But my point is, it was like a slow burn. It wasn't something that she shoved down everyone's throats right away.
Maybe
it's really fascinating to me because I love branding.
Really,
yeah.
So with that being said, and then we're gonna pivot to all things you, which I'm so excited about. How do you feel about that, by the way? Are you like, kill me? Are you like, okay?
No. I'm not that interesting. I find Addison Rae much more
I think you are
than me.
I think you are. Okay, this is something I explore too on my show often, but you just posted a whole thing about the housewives in Beverly Hills, like in their bikinis and, partying for the show and St. Lucia. And I noticed you have like the Elizabeth Hurleys, like you have all these women who are old, 50s plus, middle age, and posting really hot in bikinis, and they get a lot of shit. Curious for your thoughts and what your fans think about that.
Well, there was a bunch of negative comments about the housewives underneath that post, which I thought was total bullshit. They looked amazing. Like these people commenting, I'm assuming that they're younger than 50 years old or even 40 years old. They should like beg the gods that they look that good at those women's age.
It's also judgmental, and I'm like, let them live their lives. If I look half that good
Same.
at that age, like let's go, let her live, just like Lily Rose Depp's underboob in The Idol, which like does for The Idol. You talked about the co-star, but everybody's so judgmental, and it's like, why does this make your life feel better? Who cares? Like,
it does make them feel better, I guess, that they, maybe they know they'll never look that good at their age, at those women's age. But I love it. I love that they were prancing around in very scantily clad get-ups in that clip. I was like, go. And I mean, they looked great. I think they looked great. They all look great. And it's not warranted. The internet's mean. It's a mean place.
I hear it too from middle-aged women who are like, they're trying too hard. They're just whatever. They're desperate for attention. I'm like, let them. Exactly. Okay.
It's all jealousy.
So more interestingly than any of these celebs is you. Do you? Okay. I'm sure you've thought about this, but you have managed. I was explaining your show and what you do in your empire to my boyfriend, and he's like, she has, and he's also in media on the politics side. And he's like, she has managed to stay anonymous this entire time. Like his mind was blown. So do you think about your anonymity and if and how you will just like blow that cover, and will it be on this show? Please say yes.
No, yeah, I've actually had this conversation with my agents and some people recently. Yeah, I mean, if there's like an incentive, money to
no, I love that. Like I learned from the Addison Rae playbook, bitch.
Yeah, I'm being honest. If there's an incentive for me to pull back the curtain, I would be open to do it, only because I'm missing out on other opportunities because I am anonymous, meaning like I wasn't able to promote my book in person. I can't do like I can't do like live podcast recordings. I can't do that kind of stuff. So I'm missing out on those opportunities because I choose to stay under wraps. But if there was in the future an incentive to come forward, I would be open to it, only to open myself up to other opportunities. I love to like talk to students or like talk to women and inspire them because, I've said this before, but like I basically like changed careers midlife. I like literally switched careers, like, and it was scary and I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it.
Well, it's also, I think, admirable because we're in such a pick-me climate for you to stay behind the scenes. Like I saw like your platform was just invited, and this is what I said earlier, how celebrities like respect you, which I want to like finish off with this, right? That dynamic you have with them. But like you were even just invited to Blake Lively's hair care product launch. Like she wanted you to be a part of it, and I saw you send someone from your team. But I thought how interesting. It's like, right, she can't even like go in person. And I wonder if that like makes her feel, a type of way. But on the other side of that, from what I remember, maybe one of the times I was on your shows, we had talked about on the other side of it, like being so public. And I think like you're one of the few platforms that I think even like Taylor Swift's team, right, which is a whole beast and like run machine in and of itself, like personally came for you. And so I'm wondering if you ever, like, I know there have been instances where I have been scared of people coming after me. Like, do you get scared of that threat of like, I'll sue you or this or that? Like, what is that like in terms of putting yourself out there? And if you're ever in the day to day, like, oh shit, like I'm watching myself, I'm watching my back.
I think I was scared in the beginning, but I've learned how to navigate what I'm publishing. So now I'm not as scared. I'm not scared at all.
Do you find, what was that?
No, because I was gonna say, because like I feel like I'm, and people get frustrated about this, but like I feel like I play it safe to avoid that. I don't want to piss people off. I don't want, you know what I mean? I don't want to
That's
be.
interesting.
I don't want to be sued. That's not a badge of honor to me. That is not my objective. So
Right.
I try to be salacious, as I try to toe the line, be salacious to the point where I don't think it's going to get me in trouble.
Because that moment is real. I mean, I've told my Chrissy Teigen story on your show when I wrote the op-ed about her and she came after me. And I remember at the time I was so like wide-eyed and fresh on the scene. And my mom was like, what if Chrissy Teigen comes after you? And I was like, oh fuck, like could Chrissy Teigen lock me up? Like, is this actually real? And then people would be like, no, press is bad press. What is, it's like that kind of David and Goliath thing. And it's like, will they really pursue it? Is it worth their time? So it's definitely a thing. And, I like that you're like, it's like no sweat off my back. I've learned to navigate it and, it's not a big thing. And with that being said, I'm curious if how celebrities engage with you in the DMs, in the shadows. Like, are they ever, in there like defending themselves or in their feelings? Like, could you give an example or like clearing something up, like what that is like too? Because I'm sure there has to be, it's going down in your DMs.
Yeah, I mean, people would be surprised. Like, they don't contact me from their real accounts. Very few have. So I'm learning through other people that they message me through Finstas. So I don't know who I'm talking to if it's through a Finsta. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't even know how to answer that. I've been asked that question so many times. Yes, there definitely is people that use their real accounts and have messaged me. Not really anything about themselves. Like, no huge celebrities are, trying to clear up their own rumors. It's mainly would be like reality stars, I feel like, would be more prone to contacting me directly about something that's been posted about them. I've had publicists reach out on behalf of clients, like A-list clients. And yeah, I don't know if they're sending in tips or they're clearing up their names, like they're doing so anonymously.
Do they ever have you retract the publicist, like take this out and threaten you?
No, I mean, no. The most recent was something that happened with Timothy Chalamet, and I don't think they were happy about what was posted, but in the end, it winded up kind of being true because an article came out about him in the Daily Mail.
What was it about? When was
it? Was about him, how he conducted himself on set.
Oh, okay.
On the Bob Dylan movie.
Got it. Okay. It's kind of, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And someone had tipped me off that something was going to come out about him, but they didn't know what it was.
Got it.
And I posted the tip with no context because the person didn't have context, and people were up in arms, and it got back to his team, and his team was just like, we don't know anything about this. So, I don't know if they were telling the truth or not, because cut to 3 weeks later, an article came out in the Daily Mail.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep. And it's kind of, you always put a disclaimer like, hey, this is like they're blind items, blind to like I'm not standing by this information. And it's sort of like you kind of always, I can imagine you kind of walking that line, but you always have, this is a little like woo-woo, but like the truth always comes out one way or another. So in that regard, you don't really have anything to be worried about because it's like
Exactly.
the truth
Well,
is going to come out one way
no,
or,
you're exactly right. And if I keep talking about something and people are like, "Why are you so persistent about X, Y, and Z?" And I'm like, I can't come out that's when you get yourself in trouble, when you say, "I confirm," or
Oh, I
"This is
know.
true." So I
Yep.
can't come out and say, "I know for a fact this is true." I can't ever come out and say that.
Right.
That's the kind of verbiage that will get you in trouble. So I always have to be
Exactly.
vague and
Yeah.
wait
Yeah.
and twiddle my thumbs for exactly what you just said to happen, the truth to come out, which it
Yes.
always does in the
She's like
things that I'm
watching.
adamant about, because I
Girl,
know it's true.
girl, I always say whatever the topic or sphere, cultural, political, celebrity, like where there's smoke, there's fire. I feel like most of the
Same.
time,
And that's one of my favorite lines.
facts, tried and true again. So I have to let you go. I could talk to you all day, but I'm curious. Um, last kind of closing thoughts, right? Like again, you've been doing this. I think it's so awesome that you have built this whole empire. And obviously, like we're getting more and more transparent. We're learning what celebrities are really like. You have your platform. Celebrities are on Instagram now. It's not how it used to be, where they were so, covered and hard to get access to. Where do you see it all going?
I mean, I don't see Instagram or TikTok going away anytime soon. So I just think that the celebrities that won't play the game, meaning like that won't engage on social media or don't have social media accounts, I feel like they'll probably be encouraged to do so. So I think we'll see more celebrities on social media.
Oh, wow.
Um,
The Natalie Portmans, all them just
yeah,
staying
yeah, I just
elusive.
feel
Yeah.
like
Huh.
it's part of the game now. Like I'm sure that their agents and managers in the studios encourage them to do it. I just think that some of them are reluctant and I don't blame them. It is dirty, dirty, dirty out there, Like it is not fun when the internet bands together and decides to hate on you for
Yeah.
a reason. And I I feel sorry when that happens to some celebrities. Like, I was very vocal about how the internet turned against J.Lo and it wasn't fair, and I kind of feel like that's happening a little bit to Blake Lively right now
Yeah.
because they're giving her shit about the way she promoted, the movie It Ends With Us, and, I think that there's a lot of things that the public doesn't know that happens behind the scenes, and I think that at the end of the day, we have to remember that these people are still human beings.
Yeah. And it's sad that what you would even say of like, maybe they would all have to hop on eventually to defend themselves. Like it's such a state of like where we're at in the world. Like it's so sad and toxic. So hopefully it turns around. Do you genuinely like get a hit and enjoy it? Like get a little buzz like, oh, like I can admit I'm like really cynical about celebs and jaded. And like sometimes I look at your stuff and I'm like, oh, so and so likes cheese. It's like something about it. I can't. So do you get that too? Or are you just like so, you know,
I
like
mean,
into
about the little stuff? Yeah, I mean, like,
anything, anything
the
celeb culture? Yeah, what you're reporting on.
yeah, like, I love the little details, like, those are the things that I was
Yeah.
posting about from day one that I think set the Instagram account apart from anything else that was
Yes,
out there
I
because I
agree.
was posting about the coffee orders, I was posting
Yes.
about
Yeah.
what they get
Yeah.
at the grocery store, and some people were like, "This is so boring," and I'm like, "I
No, it's
like it." Like, I
timeless.
like to
Timeless.
know what kind of coffee Nicole Kidman orders,
Right.
and it just so happens that she likes a bone dry cappuccino, and so do I. So,
Exactly.
Nicole Kidman and I are the same in that way, but yeah, that was the whole point. It's like an accessibility
Yeah.
to a lifestyle and a world that we aren't a part of, but you could feel a part
Yep.
of by learning those little details, and that's why I love to post that kind of stuff. Yeah, when someone
Awesome.
posts a sighting and they include a restaurant order, like if someone is sitting next to a celebrity and they're like, I saw, like, for example, somebody sent in on Sunday, I saw Shailene Woodley. She had 2 Aperol Spritz and a Caesar salad. And I was like, ooh, thanks for the info. Like, yeah, that stuff gets me excited.
I know, I know. Well, listen, I think it's amazing what you're doing. Keep doing you, pun intended. I think it's awesome, and ain't nothing wrong with that. It's so fun. It's an escape for us, and it's real and human. So hats off to you, everybody. If you haven't checked out Deuxmoi, Are You Even Living? Do You Have a Pulse? Go and check yourselves. Like, go and get yourselves right. Dude, thank you so much, my love.
Thanks,
So
Taylor.
much fun, as always.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.